it's great to just sit down with these guys, and there's so much talent, so much potential in here, and being able to just sit down and have conversations and bounce ideas off them, and maybe give them some different thoughts, different ways to think about things that might help them out. It's just so much fun for me. And
on ESPN 1000, Justin, congrats. How you feeling today?
Thanks, guys. I feel great. It's always good to get out of here with a W on opening day.
So take us through how it felt for you. Are you one of those guys who just lives in the moment and doesn't think back? Or with all those big games with the Dodgers against the Cubs, did you sort of take it in as the first time you played as a home player at Wrigley Field?
I took it in early in the game and enjoyed the energy and the fans. But once you get, they let you know there's a chance you might be hitting. I'm down underneath getting ready, and then it's happening, and kind of just get into your routine and try not to do too much in those situations. And I mean, all the credit there goes to Seiya. Obviously, good lead at first, good secondary lead, hustling, beating that out. And really, this club's been doing that. It hasn't been a lot of games, but I think we've gained 9 or 10 outs on the bases by playing hard and beating some forces. So that's something we've talked about in spring training and take a lot of pride in. And obviously today it led to 2 more runs.
Justin, you've played with some great teams in Major League Baseball over your illustrious career, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Red Sox. Why the Cubs? Why'd you choose the Cubs here in 2025?
Yeah, I thought it was a great opportunity to come here and make another run, win a division, get into the playoffs, and take another shot at winning a World Series. So like this team, like their makeup, like the way they go about it, obviously Counts is a great guy to play for, and we're off to a pretty good start.
What was your view from the Cubs on the outside looking in? And I know it's been a very short time, but how is it different or on par with what you thought it would be?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, just playing here, the energy of the fans, get to play in another historic ballpark. And, as players in a long season, 162 games in 180 days, it can get monotonous and grindy. And a lot of times we lean on the fans and their energy to kind of give us a little pick-me-up when we need it. And, obviously, they show up here every single day. And we've had some great battles over the years on other teams that I've been on with the Cubs, and I know how electric this place can be. So excited to be a part of it.
How difficult is that trip, going to Japan and then coming back and getting reacclimated and then, going back to spring training games? Is it a difficult adjustment?
Yeah, I thought we did a pretty good job getting over there and avoiding the jet lag over there. But once we got back, it really kind of hit those first 4 or 5 days back in spring training and trying to get up and get energy up to play in exhibition games. So, and then you add, opening the season, 4 games in Arizona, it feels like it extended spring training even longer. So, obviously getting out of there with 2 wins and had an opportunity to win a 3rd one, but, fell a little short in that last game. But getting out of there, splitting with that team, which is a good team, 2-2, and it's still having that kind of spring training feel, I thought was a great job by us. And there's a lot of guys joking. It felt like, going up to Sacramento and playing the A's was really, the first game of the season. So, the boys are fired up. We're playing good baseball right now, and yeah, looking forward to a long season with these guys.
Justin Turner joining us. It's Waddle and Silvy on ESPN 1000. Boog Sciambi on the broadcast said today, as you came up to the plate, your walk-up music was Danger Zone, of course, from Top Gun. And he said that you had known Val Kilmer for a while, were friends with him, and that was your tribute. Was that the case, and can you tell us about that relationship?
Yeah, I didn't know Val well, but we had a mutual friend who, kind of helped Val out a lot. And he was a fan. He had, wrote some stuff on social media in 17. I don't know if I'm allowed to bring this up, a pretty good big swing in 17 against the Cubs.
Yeah.
He had a social media post talking about me and how big of a fan he was. And he actually did a piece of artwork for me and gifted it to me and wrote, "You can be my wingman anytime" on there. And I thought that was really cool. And, obviously with him getting sick and staying in contact and checking in with him, seeing how he's doing, obviously to hear of his passing was pretty sad. So didn't have a walk-up song, was in between a lot of stuff. And then, when that happened, I thought it was a no-brainer to just pay kind of homage to him. And obviously what a legend, so many great movies. We talk about Top Gun, but I think what he did in Tombstone was absolutely unbelievable. So I can't imagine anyone else playing Doc Holliday. So big fan of his, and prayers to his family and his friends, and hopefully he's in a better place now.
It's such a good answer, Justin. And like when you like, I remember 16. I blacked out during 17 as a Cubs fan, but I'm trying to go off of my memory. Was the game winner against Lackey in Game 2?
Yeah.
Do you know that was one of my, as far as a fan, I want to hear from you now that we finally get a chance to talk now, 8 years later. I was so pissed as a Cub fan that Joe brought in Lackey in that situation. Were you surprised that you were facing Lackey in that situation?
Well, no, because I had faced him the night before in a kind of similar situation, and he actually got me out, I believe. So, and then going in Game 2, they bring him in, and he almost, I don't think it was exactly the same sequence, but a very similar sequence. So, and then I don't know if you recall, but I hit a ball in the first inning to center, and Almora Jr., I thought I got that one, and Almora Jr. ran it down and caught it against the wall. So later in the game, when I hit that ball, I was going hard out of the box, and I was like, oh man, he's going to freaking go back and catch this one too. And then I look up and it went over the wall. So that was probably one of the best individual moments in my career.
In years of therapy later, Silvy's okay now. However many years.
Barely.
My wife's from Northwest Indiana, and we go back there all the time, and I get crap from people in Northwest Indiana all the time who are big Cubs fans talking about how, I can't believe that swing, yada, yada, yada. And my answer is always like, well, you beat us in 16 and won the World Series. Yeah. We beat you in 17 and lost. So I think you guys got a one-up on me.
That's nice.
We're in Northwest Indiana, Justin.
Valparaiso, Chesterton area.
Oh,
she went to Chesterton High School, yeah.
Hey, at this stage of your career, still got a lot left, but do you embrace the role of maybe being a leader for some of these young, talented players on this Cubs roster?
I absolutely love it. Yeah, it's great to just sit down with these guys, and there's so much talent, so much potential in here, and being able to just sit down and have conversations and bounce ideas off them, and maybe give them some different thoughts, different ways to think about things that might help them out. It's just so much fun for me. And, even when I signed here, they said, are you sure you want to sign here? It's going to be a limited role, and we're not sure how many at-bats are going to be. And, I look forward to it. The first 6-7 years of my career, I was in this role coming off the bench and pinch hitting and playing against lefties. So, I basically said, I'm pretty familiar with the role. I can do it. I've done it for a long time. And, again, it's just such a talented roster and so many good players. And I think the best part about it is there's so many guys that are eager and hungry and want to learn and want to get better. I've been on some teams in the past where, there's a lot of guys that think they got it all figured out, and that's just not the case here, which is great.
And that's where I was going to go. How important is the vibe here? It's important in all professional sports, but you guys are on the road a ton. You play 162 of these games. Like, I mean, the vibe, I would think, in a Major League Baseball locker room and what you guys go through is very, very important.
Yeah, the vibes are great, and the energy is great. And like I said earlier, it's a long season, and we can get into the middle of this thing and traveling and road trips where it gets a little grindy, and need to find a way to get picked up. And coming back to Wrigley and playing in that atmosphere in front of these fans every single day makes it a lot easier on us. So we appreciate the fans, we appreciate the passion, we appreciate the energy, and hopefully they come out all year long and root us on, and we keep competing and playing a good brand of baseball like we have been.
Justin, before we let you go, we always love the conversations with the guys who have been around the block. We used to love talking to John Lester because you guys always have you've been there, you've done that, and you could educate us. So what are your thoughts on the torpedo bats, and is this something that is being over-publicized and is no big deal, or is this a game changer in baseball?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't swung one yet, so I don't really know how it affects me personally. But it's probably getting overblown a little bit. You still got to take a round ball or hit a round bat and hit a round ball and put it in play and all that stuff. So I'm sure there'll be a lot said, especially after everything the pitchers went through, battling the sticky stuff, which is helping their performance. And there's already been guys coming out saying, well, if hitters are going to have a bigger barrel or whatever, torpedo barrel, then we should go back to the sticky stuff. I don't know. I think they're making a big deal out of it. And I actually think a lot of guys were using it last year and no one said anything. So it's just kind of something that's come about. And obviously the Yankees were the most vocal about it early. And I feel like anytime they do something that there's a little bit bigger of a hoopla about it. So I'm sure it'll all go away soon.
Well, we're glad you're here. Thanks for picking up the phone for us, and we hope we could talk in the future. Thanks, Justin.
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
There you go. Justin Turner. Good guy. And he's like one of those guys that we always enjoy talking to. And to go back to 17, I still remember like it was yesterday. I was so pissed. And I still think that Joe was great. And I still think that Joe was taken for granted when it was all said and done. It doesn't mean that you can't disagree with some of the moves. And I still always remember going to Lackey late in the game against Justin Turner.
Boy, and Justin, what a career he's had. Like, he spent 4 or 5 years with the Mets. He spent, almost a decade with the Dodgers. He played 1 year in Boston, Toronto.
He's sort of like isn't he one of the poster guys for if you start off slow, there are things and changes you can make. Yeah. Because like he said, he was more of a utility guy early in his career, and then he got really, really good with the Dodgers.
He did not, he got into the league in 2009. I'm looking at his numbers. He didn't have 400 at-bats until his 4th year in the league, and then he didn't have 400 at-bats again in a season until 2016. So you're right. Like, he's filled a lot of different roles, and he's persevered, and he's had a fabulous career.
And good accepting of the role, and I think he's perfect for this team and exactly what the team needs. All right, coming up next, we've got Florida or Ohio, maybe a fun story or two. Jesse's going to join us at 5. If you want to talk to us, 312